Hi, this is the second part of the video, the genetic shift. So what was once the church's way of communicating and giving reverence and thanks to God has now turned into something you can hear on any R&B, rhythm and blues station. Any type of music that wasn't gospel was considered Satan's tongue or the devil's music. And because they are singing to God or about Jesus, they think they are exempt. However, this so-called contemporary music can have the same adverse effects on the mind as heavy metal, rock and roll, rap, disco, house, etc. In the year 1953-80, the waves were moved up. They altered sound and rhythm, and that's when all the natural instruments were replaced and the imitation and artificial songs replaced them. They made it real convenient for beings of a higher vibrational level to come in because of the dimensional shift in 1953-80. More on this topic in another upcoming video series. Now, it has gotten away from them, and from then to now the music is getting faster and faster. The children are killing each other, dancing in madness. You have all fake music. Music is composed of computerized electrical sounds. They are known as disco, club, house, rock, country, hip hop, pop, and rap. This electrical music destroys the nervous system. Thus, because of the new computerized music, brain cells are being burnt faster. Thus, they are being cooked just like a microwave cooks food. They can't control it. First, let me explain what a microwave is. A microwave, meaning small wave, is a short radio wave that can cook your brain. A radio wave is an electromagnetic wave which is an electric and magnetic field which diffuse in free space at the velocity of 186,293 miles per second. This can be defined as those with wavelengths between 1 millimeter and 30 centimeters, which is equivalent to frequencies between 3 by 10 to the 9th and 10 to the 11th hertz cycles per second. The moment you say frequency, you get sound. Microwave ovens work off of sounds and has an electronic tube called a magnetron that produces microwaves. They actually cook by sending short radio waves through a metal tube to a metal blade called a stirrer. The stirrer scatters the microwaves, making them bounce off the cement-like coated walls that are in the microwave. The cement-like walls are good conductors of heat. The microwaves then start to seek out an object. In fact, sound waves go into the food and oscillate, swing to and from, causing the molecules to vibrate in the food. The friction that is taking place between the molecules inside the food causes heat, and the food is cooked. How long does it take to make a pot roast in a regular oven? About 7 to 8 hours. Well, in a microwave, it would take about 1 hour. If sound creates heat and sound waves get into the cells of the meat, which you are, and cooks them, this is the same thing that happens when you listen to music through headphones. The sound, which is caused by vibration of the sound waves, travel through the wires of the headphones, through your ears, to your brain, And the same process that happens when meat is cooked in a microwave happens to your brain. So the louder the music, the more damage you are doing. This is not only referring to hip hop. It is the same with all music, including classical, because of the fact that it is in the wrong tone and the music changes. So slowly but surely, music is cooking your brain, destroying your brain cells. You might ask, well, what if music is just a hobby? Music as a hobby is fine. However, when music, a hobby, becomes the main focus in your life, where you live for music and constantly living in hopes that I'm gonna make it big one day, or I just need one big break, or the next one is going to be a winner, you are already obsessed. After this part of the dream fails, you will be spending that money that you can't afford to spend on musical equipment and anything that has to do with music in hopes to be a great producer or superstar. There is nothing wrong with theatrical success or singing, dancing, or acting, but it's not for everyone. There are millions of children who fail and spend their whole lives trying to be a Michael Jackson or a James Brown. It is not how talented you are or how pretty you are. It is strictly business. Don't become a tool of the demon of music, Pan. What this is all about is the worship of the half-man, half-god deity, Pan, who is the deity of music. When we get into the etymology of the word Pan, we find the various definitions of the word, which are the Greek mythological god of the woods, fields, and flocks, having a human torso with goat legs, horns, and ears. And look at the word pandemonium. It is the capital of the hill of hell in Milton's Paradise Lost. And it means wild disorder, noise, or confusion, or place where this exists. The lyre is a string instrument, the Amorite. Descendant of the cursed seed of Canaan, invented the high-pitched instruments like the flute and the high-pitched guitar. The high-pitched music that you hear has an effect on the sympathetic nerves, and it destroys 3 brain tissues. These are the instruments: flute, harp, and the high-pitched guitar that identified with Jubal. Jubal is the second son of Lamech, son of Cain, the black devil, and Adah. He was the ancestor of those who played the harp and the pipe, Genesis 4:21. He is the demon for people getting possessed by Pan. The ancient Greek half-man, half-goat deity that ties back to the goat, satanic goat Azazel, Leviticus 16:6-10. This ties into the scapegoat of the sacrifice of ancient Israel. That goes back to Samael, poison those of El, the evil angel. Pan is the demon over music. He is the one responsible for blacks today getting possessed by music. So you have those today who become fans or fanatics, pan addicts. In the Hebrew, the letter P's numerical value is 80, which represents the mouth of the vocalist, singers. So the fan that you see is Pan, the evil angel. In the movie Angel Heart, whenever someone died, you saw the fan moving, which represents Pan and the dual motion. Which brings us to another form of Pan, which is to move in a motion picture or television camera to follow a moving object or create a panoramic effect to move in such a manner. So the symbol of the fan and the dual motion is another way to show Samael's, the evil angel's presence. This motion is also represented in dance movements. Today what children are calling dancing is really non-dancing. They are just jumping up and down and bouncing around, doing anything and calling it a new dance step. They call it freestyle. Back in the 80s, they were break dancing, a dangerous dance the Amorite introduced which consisted of spinning on your head, which caused brain damage. This is just their invention for you to damage your brain. He had the young kids spinning on their cervical spine. This type of dancing causes the spine to curve and stop the flow of energy from reaching the medulla oblongata, the lower part of the brain that controls your bodily functions. Their movements have nothing to do with rhythm or coordination. Rap music is not real music. It is edits and splits of music combined to make music, however resulting in offbeat, non-rhythmic, and non-music called music. It is through these rhythmless movements and rhythmless music that Samael makes the kids lose their souls. For years I have been telling blacks that everything the evil angel introduces is geared towards your destruction. You fell into the evil angel's trap by allowing the music with no rhythm in it to seep into your soul. This is why it is so easy for all these new Caucasian performers, male and female, to fit right into so-called black music. But this black music is actually on a Caucasian beat, which is offbeat. At the base of every ethnic group, Orientals, Latinos, Nubians, you find a drum, except for the European music, classical music. Religious people who did not have a root in music created such groups like Sunni Muslims who tell black people in their religion that it is haram, unlawful or forbidden to dance. When you danced, you had a reason, and each was for a different reason. You did dances about your leaders, about the blacks, dances about your plight in bondage in the New Babylon or Americas and the Caribbean, and dances to celebrate your mental liberation. Nowhere in the scripture did it forbid you to dance. You'll find in the Old Testament that David, the son of Jesse and Hilma, sang, danced, and spun around in the air. 2 Samuel 6:16. dancing was not forbidden by Yahuwah. It's just that music and dance of today have been corrupted by the evil angel. He controls the entire music industry, which includes promotions, distribution, etc. He controls the way blacks look and the way they act and think. He has them worshipping his image, which is the image of the beast. Caucasian and a half man, half goat Pan. So Pan is the demon of music. The satyrs or satires, along with the Pans and the Faunas, are a group of demons ruled by Pan. Satyrs or satires in Greek mythology are the deities of the woods and mountains with horns and tails and sometimes with the legs of the goat. The satyrs were the companions of Dionysus, the god of wine, and spent their time pursuing nymphs, drinking wine and playing the strings, the flute and bagpipes, music. Pan was especially fond of remote mountains and caves and was believed to be responsible for the sudden, inexplicable fear or panic that can overtake travelers in such surroundings. Could this inexplicable fear be the occurrence of a walk-in of Pan without someone's knowledge? So, listening to music which can invoke the evil spirit of Pan and King Midas, you also invoke the spirit of the god of wine, Dionysus, and all the energies that accompany him: orgiastic rites, intoxication, and licentiousness, which is lacking moral discipline or ignoring legal restraint, especially in sexual conduct. Sounds familiar? Intoxication and licentiousness are things that you see in clubs, at modern bacchanalias, which are places with sexually provocative clothing, dancing, and song lyrics in an environment with an abundance of alcoholic beverages and always loud music. The principalities know what they were doing by using music to invoke these evil spirits, which lead to the destruction of many, will lead to the destruction of many, and the claiming of many souls by the devil. The devil wants to use music that will promote walk-ins of these evil spirits to possess you and execute the immoral acts of their ancestors. In 1983-80, principalities in high places reinforced the spell of the dollar bill through music. Again, they have given you choices. The strategy used is they created pro-black organizations like the Black Panthers and turned all these types of pro-black organizations into anti-government organizations. And we Negroids fell back into the 50s, looking for old clothes, partying, etc., which bred break dancing. Just look at the word, dancing that breaks you. From there, it became popping, unlocking, hip-hop, and gangster rap. Then they were happy that both their kids and our kids were on their way to destruction. Yet their kids came over to hip-hop, and their version of it was slam dancing, and they became dumbfounded. Through music, who is Muse, one of the 9 daughters of Zeus, and Nemusin. Her name is phonetically the same as music, which is used to mentally destroy you. Each one of Zeus's 9 daughters presided over a different art or science. In reality, she represented the seductress and the 9 principles that women use to rule. Next, these principalities in high places only allowed certain groups to make it, while certain groups never get a chance to at a hit record. This type of indoctrination has produced artists such as Biggie Smalls and Tupac Shakur, whose lives they surrounded with death and violence. However, when they, Tupac and Biggie, tried to come with something positive and uplifting for the Negroid race, they never got airtime. Notice that this is the vicious cycle of what they do. Create a problem while consuming money and generating more community distress, destroy the problem. All the while, the characters involved, the recording artists, unbeknownst to them, will become innocent victims. Many rap artists have been sacrificed to the beast around the same time as Biggie Smalls and Tupac Shakur. The devil just take these hardcore hip hoppers and just buys them out, giving them money or movie parts in exchange for money. Once these artists become gangster rappers, both male and female, the devil buys them out. Just look at Snoop Doggy Dogg, who was a gangster rapper, a convicted drug dealer, supposed murderer, an influential rapper, saying their words on his records, and now an actor. He plays a demon character in a demonic movie called Bones. They let him get big and they let him get news coverage. You see how they pretend Dr. Malachi Z. York don't exist? He has millions of readers. He called the Euro Jew the fake Jew who were really Jebusites, one of the sons of Canaan. All kinds of things. And what he says, it's all true. They know he can prove what he says and back it up because it's all facts. So they keep him out of the news. And the news media, they avoid him unless they come up with some scandals or lies to try to defame him. Then you will see him on TV with them saying, he did this and he did that. This message, my Nubian people, is taken from scroll number 15, Leviathan 666, authored by the angel Melchizedek, Dr. Malachi Z. York, in 1971 AD. The 6th revision was in 2003 AD. He is telling us here that he already knew they were coming with scandals to do their best to defame him. This is also why we expected them to downplay these videos, publishing that they only average 300 views per video, hoping to discourage us into stopping this flow of right knowledge. Ha! King Kong, Mr. Orang-Utan, this is for you and all your host of undercover agents, the baby that could pimp me like that. Baby is the acronym for bitch ain't born yet. Now back to the message. Sure, you'll say, but Snoop Doggy Dogg writes his own lyrics. Yet you fail to realize he is influenced to think these words were the right things to say. He is taught to think that if he says these things, get a 9mm and shoot someone, he'll make a hit. I'm sure, Dr. Malachi Ziok is speaking, I'm sure if Snoop Doggy Dogg could sing like Luther Vandross sings love songs, he'd rather get hits like that. But instead he is influenced to think that the type of things he says creates a market for him. Or take KRS-One, Chris Parker, of the infamous rap group Boogie Down Productions, who was featured in the Spin magazine May 1992-80 in the article entitled Build and Destroy, page 55 through 57. It states, the everyman gangster had turned philosopher, and his audience, which he describes as college students, black and white, future lawyers, and future gangsters. With later efforts, KRS began to attack black-on-black crime, which resulted in the East Coast's biggest recording MCs recording Self-Destruction, the classic single that preaches a message of unity and peace to listeners. Then, 2 paragraphs later, it states that how KRS-One was not allowed to turn away from hardcore lyrics and had to regress back to gangster rap to get a hit. That is the Negro image of black-on-black crime and death, all keeping you in their ghetto hating yourself. I'm sure if he could have continued his battle against thug life and continued to try to educate his people, he would have. But media, be it magazine, big fornication, newspapers, and radio forced him to do otherwise, never allowing him to do the right thing. The bottom line is that music is one of the greatest forms of communication that we have, and the influence of music and its accompanying lyrics can move its listener to emotional heights. It can move people to action, fuel the desires of its listener, and it can even be the motivating force behind war. Yes, music can do all these things. Its effect is undeniable, and as soon as you are honest enough to face the facts of its power, the whole lyric battle will fall into its proper perspective. Music has a great effect on people. It can make you happy or sad. Music can upset your whole body chemistry. It can make you nervous and irritable, or relax you and open your mind to think of all the beautiful things around you, which allows you to appreciate those things that you take for granted in everyday life. The type of music you listen to will determine what effects it will have on you, and this includes its lyrics. If you take a close look at what the music that your young people are listening to these days is actually saying, what are the lyrics teaching our children? How about violence, devil worshipping, promiscuity, to name a few lessons? Not to mention they listen to the same words over and over again. This is commonly called brainwashing, or more like brain dirtying. Let's look at the situation even closer. Let's scrutinize the scene. Wake up. Listen to what is fed to your children. If you don't take heed now, then don't complain about what the future is sure to bring. Let's talk about what rap music is all about. Rap is the black man's heavy metal. Most rap entertainers portray bad posture, bad grammar, and bad habits. This is what the audience picks up. What kind of values are they instilling in the future generation? Ask yourself, is this the role model I want for my children to follow? When these rap artists perform, they are merely a sideshow for a series of commercials for alcohol, drugs, and sex. These actions are simply that of the cities of Ad, THAMUD, Nod, Sodom and Gomorrah, all the many wicked cities that were influenced by those black devils. 200 disagreeable Eloheem gods that were all destroyed. They were some of the most wicked cities in the history of man. These cities indulge in all forms of sins, blasphemy, and fornication. The wickedness of the cities of Ad, THAMUD, Nod, Sodom and Gomorrah is prevalent today as it was then. Punk rock, rap, hip-hop, and heavy metal are physical manifestations of the evil brought down by the 200 fallen angels, black devils, which still exist today. So once again, I, Dr. Malachi Zio, speaking, warns you to be aware. Black music is influenced by black devils. There are some people today who have the genes of the Anunnaki, extraterrestrials, and at the same time, there are some people who have the genes of the jinn, the black devils. It is not hard to find out who you are. Paul, the self-acclaimed apostle of Jesus Christ, knew who he was, and he said, even when I try to do good, it goes bad. I thought I was doing the right thing, and it was an evil thing. Romans 7:17-25. The devil is the thing in you when you're trying to do right